Hi, welcome to Mystic Moons. It's still the late spring, and summer awaits us a few weeks away. President Trump has been in office for almost 4.5 months. We've seen a lot of changes, we've seen a lot of emotions, a lot of scenes, and a lot of things that we didn't need to see. And everyone wonders just how, in this merry-go-round of activity, abroad, domestically, which way we're going. So I want each one to sit down and relax, first of all. It's important to relax and just digest what's been happening in the United States of America. And we could say, like, a lot of things, or we can say nothing's been happening. However, we do know a lot of things are going on that are not being exactly explained. And are we following a pattern? We have to ask ourselves these questions. Are we following some sort of self destructive path? So today, we're going to start digging. We're going to start digging and see where it goes. Tonight, rather. Almost at midnight, which is kind of like a bewitched hour that we're going into. Nighttime makes one more reflective. And that's what we're going for. We're trying to see where the United States, where we're going. All right? Let's first of all clean the air. All right? Here we go. It's calling out clarity to all of us. We all wonder. We all think. Some of us think more than others. But to all my subscribers, thank you for coming today, this time of nowness, and gathering together to think, to reason, to ponder what is going on with our universe. And the universe is exactly where you are right now, under the stars. Are we involved in a civil war? We have to ask ourselves. This has been egging on. Like people say, oh, we're going towards a civil war. Hello, how are you? Good evening, Bree. How are you? Do you think that we're going to a civil war? It's been said, and I, among others, have been going, oh, please, civil war? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Why should we go towards civil war? However, look at LA. LA seems to be the dynamite for this country. The fires we had earlier. Now we have riots. Riots over, some people say they were coming to arrest some people, some border crossers, for doing some sort of criminal actions. Others say, oh, you're just arresting honest people. And it's gotten blown up and blown up and blown up and blown up. Anyway, at this stage, it really almost doesn't matter what the initial cause was, because now we're into 2,000 Marines, not Marines, 2,000 National Guards, 700 Marines, and 2,000 more are reportedly on their way. Now, and then we have angry people. They put a few cars on fire. They did this, they did that. Yes, it does. It does. It does. It's almost as though it's a catalyst for something else. It's like putting, when you're like getting ready for a barbecue, you got the charcoal briquettes already ready. You got your whatever you're going to cook on top of the grill. But then again, you need lighter fluid to get the fire going. Like, the charcoal can, is good for a certain amount of hours of implosion, of fire, of heat, of cooking ability, but you need to put that liquid fuel on it to get it going. Now, could this just been Is this the beginning of civil war? And it's supposed to spread to all other cities. All right, well, something is so kinetic and has the potential to burst into something that we've seen in other countries, like the Arab Spring. I mean, we've seen Somalia, we've seen many countries, Bangladesh, we've seen them implode, at least the video of them imploding. We've seen Israel imploding under their leadership. We've seen, just about everyone imploding at one point or the other. Now, is this our turn? Is this our turn? Let's ask the spirits. Now, sometimes you can't believe anybody, really. You can't believe anybody who has a motive. Like, I mean, a motive of keeping your $2 million a month and up job at a news station. They'll tell you anything. It's propaganda. But let the spirits are beyond all these realms of propaganda. They just kind of pick up the ether, no matter who's putting the wood chips in the furnace to burn this momentum of like starting a civil war. Now, we had all sorts of things. We had people against people because if you look a certain way, you talk a certain way, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, there's enough fuel to make any fire. We've had we've had maybe like 5 million, 15 million, 51 million border crossers in the last few years who crossed over with just, hey, I'm here. And they've gotten like a lot of treatment that native U.S. citizens have not been able to score. Like, you fall on hard times in the United States, what do you get? I'll tell you what you get. You know what you get? You get a roach hotel, if you're lucky, or you just get kicked out in the street. And food, you get and I think the immigrants stayed, the border crossers, they stayed in 5-star hotels, 4-star. United States people, you're lucky to get. I mean, there's reason for all this agina, and because it's by design to create chaos. So let's just ask the spirits: is this the beginning? Is this the beginning of civil war in the United States? Now, we have a lot of angst. It ain't easy in the United States. You know it's not easy. And to have things just given to you, well, you could win the lotto, maybe, perhaps, if it was. You could. But let's just see, is this the beginning of civil war? Spirits, tell us. The universe, is this the beginning of civil war? We're going to pick like 5 random cards, all right? 5, we're just pulling just to get some sort of feel for this, because it feels like anyone who has lived in this country or in this country knows how quick it is to get irritated, because the system is built for irritation, right, Bree? It does. It makes you like, right? Because you're constantly being fed unsettling material. First thing we get, let's first of all turn this around the right way. All right, seems to be this way. Now we're asking, is this the beginning of a civil war? Right? So, okay, in the United States, that's the question. Now the first thing we get is the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles. Setting the stage. I'm ready. I'm here. It's here. I would say, yeah. Look at this. The 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles. This is not a happy. This is the preparation. The prep work is done, and here I am. The bride of chaos and disorder is here. The 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles. The next card we get is Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups. Now, this Queen of Cups isn't like overflowing with sympathy. It's receptive. The atmosphere, as we mentioned already, the atmosphere, 24.4% unemployment. Right? That's one out of every four person, working person, eligible person to work does not have a job. Now that, which means you can't feed yourself, you can't shelter yourself. And then we do know that if you fall through the cracks, most likely you stay in the cracks. And here we have, which is the Queen of Cups, meaning, hey, the boogie woogie, the atmosphere, the juice is here. The juice of flipping, flipping. It's a flipping type of atmosphere. The Queen of Cups. I would say that's an affirmation. Next thing we get, the sun. The sun, right? The sun. Yes, this is all going, yes, it is. This is not a happy sun. This is like saying, are the LA riots serving as the appetizer, the toast to civil war? And then you're going to see they're going to play race cards, they're going to play like status and everything else, but it comes down to high prices. We have high prices for everything, mortgage, rent, car insurance, blah, 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 every single thing. And then we have no jobs, no jobs, no jobs. And then we have people coming and taking other people away in outfits. You can't wear a mask, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's tight. It's very tight. You can't get on the airport, you can't fly domestically without your biometrics in there. This is like really sad state that we're in. Sad state. There's a lot of things. How are we going to live? That's the question. And many people are just joining in the circus of the LA riots because they're just like pent up and full of anxiety. Wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say? And then what is this whole thing about flying all over Mexico, Ukraine, Israel? Who else is flying their Canada? Who else is flying their flags here? How about flying the flag of Pennsylvania, the flag of New York, the flag of the state, whatever? How about why are we being egged on? Even the Mexican president has gotten into this, saying, "Oh, what lousy neighbors we are." Well, you know one thing: if you make too much money, or you make any money in Mexico, you have to have a certain amount of money to come into Mexico anyway. To stay in Mexico, you get kicked out. And then they came here and they had everything. Well, us as citizens, these are all the agenda that was purposely by design. The Civil War is here because we all have had, we're like timber, we're like dry wood. And then here we have the Knight of Cups, which is exactly what we're talking about, the Knight of Cups, meaning there's enough going on. And then just the theater of it all. U.S. National Guard in uniform, the Marines coming in, the Governor Newsom, who's known to be a flippy boy, a flippy man, right? Flippy, right? Bree, flippy. He is like strutting and strutting, strutting and strutting. Yeah, we have to ask. The spirits are telling you everything is set for civil war. Now, everything is set. Here we have the magic fuse, the theater. Again, we're talking about the optics. The optics are the visuals that we see. We see car burning. We see military on the city streets, and we see a situation that is agitating. It's agitating and it's disturbing. This isn't the way to do things with blunt force, thump, 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 with boots on the ground. But however, we can very well see that these LA riots are perfect starter fuel, light to something that is going to be hard to extinguish. It's very, very hard to get those optics out of the mind, especially when we only have hardship and we have three tiers. We have many, many tiers. We have a big bottom tier, maybe just two tiers. The people are not being handled in a correct manner. And yet, when you give somebody something and they just think that first of all, bottom line is most people around the world think Americans are stupid. Stupid. They think that we are stupid, dumb, dumb, dumb. Put it that way. Maybe not stupid, dumb. And that we are not smart. We're so not smart we can't even form sentences about what we want, what kind of lifestyle we want. And then since many states have vices that are like, oh, it's okay to do this and it's okay to do that. I mean, not smart vices. I mean, dumb, just like be obliterated your mind vices. And we're not sitting down and really having discourse and educational lessons learned or anything discourse. We're just being agitated like a bunch of fire ants. Fire ants. So everything is right and being used in this situation. We're just having time. Time. What kind of time? Time to just get agitated. Agitated. We're like fire. Look at this flicking. Now, if I put something on this, it would burn further. Correct. And that's what the LA fires are like. You know? The optics of seeing cars, automobiles in a combustible state, igniting, flames, fire. Mm. And then the earthquakes, rumbling. Now, we do know that these earthquakes can be stimulated by frequency waves, as well as people's minds can be, and their state of being can be stimulated by frequency waves. We all know this. And yet we act like it's never discussed. And in other words, triggers. LA seems to be used as a trigger for civil war. Spirits are telling us that with the Nine of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, the Sun, the Knight of Cups, and the Magician. The LA riots. And as this summer comes into being soon, in a matter of weeks, couple weeks, it's turning into a repeat of what we had in the past. But yet this time we're having not just our city or country police. Now we're having military. So this is indeed turning into something you comply or you get smashed. Is that what's being told to us? And who are the agitators? Who are the players to make these fires? People have nothing to lose. People that go in and out of jail. People that are stoned. People that are drunk, out of their minds. Out of their minds with grief and failure. They're not out of their minds with success and a future. Why are they doing this? Why is this happening? Who's getting paid to make this happen? These are all the questions we have to ask about what is really, really, really going on. However, that's to be seen. The question at hand is right now, are the LA fire riots leading to a civil war? People who have Trump derangement syndrome, many do, instead of looking at their own lives and their own ambitions, failures, successes, keeping close to your community, we look at one man, which is like unrealistic. Unrealistic. Look at yourself in the mirror and think of your own actions. Are you doing something because you're frustrated? Are you doing something because we have plants out there? Who's making the fires? Who's doing the bricks? Where are the signs coming from? Ask those questions. Who's financing this chaos? This is chaos. We had chaos under Biden with a huge number, 51 million immigrants coming in, or 51 border crossers, newcomers, whatever you want to call people who just cross over. Can we cross over? Can United States people cross over to their country? No. In fact, even when you come over legally in the state of Mexico, in the country of Mexico, you get kicked out if you're too affluent because you drive up the prices. Now, what about all the people over here? Jobs, this and that, this and that, this and that, this and that. And we've just been complacent, or just gritted our teeth. What is the solution? It's not what's happening now. It's not military rule. It's not riots. It's not civil war. Civil war, who does it feed? Who does it complement? This is not the way to go. Spirit tells us we must not. We must not do this. But then again, if you had, look, the agitators. Will the agitators win over the paid agitators? Something's going on. We know that. Something is going on. And it's been cooked up by someone supporting this scene. Who is it? Who is it? Think of who gains, who stands to gain with civil war. Our enemies, we have many. We have many. Our friends, we have few. We have few. Mainly because we have a cannibalistic, Western culture has a cannibal, and don't say that Eastern culture doesn't have it as well. But there is a cannibalistic nature to human behavior. And that's something we have to examine. Goes beyond nationality. I got mine, and I want yours. That's the something that we have to discuss. We have to ask and examine ourselves. But right now, we can see that the Civil War is being led and fueled and started, ignited by the trigger of LA fires, LA riots, LA discord, chaos, discord, chaos. And you know, when you see something by film, you see something by photograph, it could be enhanced. It could look bigger than what it is, right? It could be bigger than what it is. There's so many ways to manipulate film and photographs. But opinion and opinion, words over and over and over and over again. So we've been hearing about civil war for quite some time. Quite some time, civil war. We'll have to think about where we want and what we want to do and how is this going in our participation or our go, or to go, hey, it's right, calm down, calm down. But will the forces that wants a civil war, will they retreat or they advance? That's the question. We have to wait and see. But definitely what they're trying with LA, and the players are all having their roles. It's almost like instant repeat, isn't it? Instant repeat. LA, the mayor, the governor. Mm. Food for thought. Food for thought. But yes, LA is leading to civil war for the summer. All right, so the next time, thank you very much for listening. Thank you. And if you have these, what do you think? What do you out there away from LA, away from that chaos, in the cool of your own domicile, what do you think about what's happening? And you could say it's not your problem, but it is kind of come to a city near you, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's not going to give us more freedom to go out there and hoop and holler. No, it isn't. If we just complacently look the other way. If we complacently just say, that's none of my business. but it is our business. It is. It's all of our business. Well, if you appreciate what we're trying to like go into the spiritual world, into our psychic manifestations, give me a like button, thumbs up, a like button, press up. And if you would like to see or hear more, you know, tune in because we just begin to cut the surface. Just beginning, just beginning. So until the next time, Mystic Moons is going to sign off, retreat into the universal geometry above, and think about just how this country, how this planet is imploding on so many levels and what's the purpose of it. And if it's human directed or non human directed, you have to think about that. Every day we find more and more evidence of different levels of, I wouldn't say technology, I would say just say interference. Interference. On what level and who's to gain with mass murder? Who's to gain with destruction? Whose gain is it? I don't think it's particularly country against country unless it's stimulated by some sort of interdimensional spirit, race, beings. Who's to gain? Human to human. If I cut off your leg, we both, you cut off my leg, we both can't walk. You poison the air, I can't breathe, and neither can you. Something's going on. This is what we have to use our psychic abilities, Mystic Moon listeners, to try and figure this out. This is our very life. Not just one country, all of it, the entire planet. And it can have hot spots. These are just one of the hot spots. Think about it. Think about it. All right. Until the next time. Bye bye.